I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is an open meeting of the Seward, Nebraska governing body. The city is certified by the Nebraska Open Meetings Act in conducting business. A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is displayed on the north wall of this main room facility as required. Disclosure of meeting recording processes is posted in the meeting room. Any citizen may address the council regarding items included on the meeting agenda and are asked to complete and hand in a speaker card to the clerk. Presenters shall approach the podium, stating their name and address for the clerk's record, and are asked to limit remarks to 5 minutes. All remarks shall be directed to the mayor, who shall determine by whom any appropriate response shall be made. The city also reserves the right to adjust the order of items on this agenda if necessary, and may elect to take action on any of the items listed. Please call the roll.
Kaler.
Here.
Coulterman.
Present.
Streisand.
Here.
Tanyas.
Here.
Singleton.
Here.
Worden.
Here.
Franciscato.
Here.
We have a quorum present.
Okay. Public hearings. Public hearing at 7 p.m. Notice of hearing and budget summary for the purpose of hearing support, opposition, criticism, suggestions, or observations of taxpayers relating to the proposed budget for the city of Seward for fiscal year 2026. Okay.
All right, this is the first meeting tonight, as we have every time for a number of years now. We have to have a separate, distinct meeting with its own notice, and so we always do that meeting first before our regularly scheduled meeting here. We've kind of talked through the budget process that we got in here. Just a quick highlight. We started in April. We go through with department heads, work through the process. We gather information over the summer, anticipate our cash flows and year-end balances, put all that together, and then present the budget. That fully delved out memo was included in our last meeting 2 weeks ago. I will note, I haven't changed anything. I think we spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours presenting that last time. I'll go over the changes that were made. I did not receive any proposed changes from anybody specifically, so we'll note that. What we'll do, because this is the public hearing, an opportunity for taxpayers to come and speak at the public hearing, is I will hit some highlights as required by statute to just kind of denote what our proposed budget includes, and then we'll allow for public comment, and then we'll move on to the next public hearing item, do the same, close this, and then you'll get an opportunity in the second meeting tonight to kind of do our amendments and our discussions, changes, proposals, and then at that time you'll have an opportunity to adopt the budget if we haven't changed anything specifically major, or adopt it with amendments, or if there's more work that needs to be done, we still have the proposed meeting next Tuesday. That was also to be the follow-up to the pink postcard meeting, but as you've noted previously, we are not on the pink postcard this year because our tax asking is not above the threshold. So that kind of gives you the lay of the land of how we got here, why we're here tonight, what we'll finish up tonight. If there's nothing to add or nothing to do and the council wants to consider it, you could adopt the budget tonight. So that is where we're at. Any questions on that?
Which means we would not have the meeting
Next week?
next week.
Nope, because you could adopt it tonight. You know, our biggest one is, again, we're not at the pink postcard meeting, so we won't be getting public comment there. We weren't listed. So we may still have people attending it because we like to hear the feedback and what's going on, but we won't be there in a formal capacity. So I'll run through some of the highlights. Just reading through my memo, again, we went through this in depth at the last meeting. But in regards to benefits, this is health insurance. Our premiums had approximately a 5.2% increase across the board. That was balanced between both employees and employer. Everybody saw a 5.2% increase in the premium costs. Wages and COLA, we had a 3% cost of living adjustment proposed in this. That's based off the CPI, Consumer Price Index, from this summer. So that was also considered. We saw an approximate 10% increase in our insurance premiums. This is our liability, workers' comp, inland marine, auto, all of those things combined together Some of them were minimal, and then some of them, like commercial property and in the marine, saw a 19% increase across the board. That equates to a 10% increase in insurance rates for the year. Administration, this is one item that was changed. This is the property tax ask, and one of the most critical, important parts. We originally had proposed a levy of 0.299. After discussions and review by our auditors, after the proposed budget was looked at by you guys 2 weeks ago, they filled out all the forms, they got everything ready for the public notices, and that's when they identified, they said, hey, you guys are only $8,000 short of this threshold for that postcard meeting. You would save yourself a lot of time and effort if you can find some savings in your budget. That was mentioned with Mayor Eichmeyer, and so we went around and discussed with department heads if there's ways we could continue to find savings for the year. And it was proposed by the golf team out there that the Verticut, which is actually a $15,000 piece of equipment, could be moved for another year, that they could get by without that greens mower. So we reduced the levy ask from 0.299 to 0.297803, so we added a few more decimal spots there than we normally have. And then our total levy adds in that 0.035 of the airport authority to make up the entire city levy. So one of the things that changed from last Tuesday is the levy was reduced slightly. The approximate tax ask that reduced by was about $9,000. For comparison purposes, the fiscal year 24-25 property tax ask was $2,155,604. The property tax ask this year is $2,261,794, a difference of $106,190. I'm going to note something interesting that happened today in discussions with the league. The county has asked us to fill out a form that's required by state statute that will be included, I believe, on your tax information next year as part of our adopted budget. They want us to identify the portion of property tax that goes to emergency services, and then you would also add into that, I believe, public defender, and there's one other one, but we don't have it. It's some other county level item. But for us, it's fire and EMS and police. And so they want to know what percentage of that. So when I looked at it, our tax ask for this year is approximately 2.2 million. Our fire, EMS, and police budgets is actually 3.2. So we utilize the entire property tax ask and more for public safety. So, now again, we bring in other revenues, we'll talk about those, sales tax, franchise fees, our services, billings, things like that. But we have a good portion of our funds that go to public safety. So, and especially a portion of the property tax. It's more than the property tax ask that we have. So, the league thought that was interesting. Again, we have other revenue sources due to the fact that we operate our own utilities, our own electric system. We have other ways to help generate revenues, and we have a healthy sales tax in the community. So, any questions on the property tax ask and the lowering of the levy? One change from 2 weeks ago. Okay. The other one is the sales tax. That's our predominant other request. That goes into the general fund predominantly. It also includes $150,000 for LB 840, and we also service our debt service out of sales tax. The last one is that quarter or that 0.5% that was adopted by the voters. That goes to the wellness center to pay off the debt that will become the full final debt now that we're closing out the wellness center project for the year. And so that we anticipate will be approximately $780,000 in sales tax revenue going to the wellness center next year to start debt payments. I'm not going to go through like line by line any of these big ones in regards to the different departments. If I see something really big on here, we talked about the pool at the last one, and that was a big thanks to the independent, kind of getting that information out there. And so we'll begin the process of discussing the future of the pool for planning purposes. Right now, the pool is running fine at the end of the season, but we talked about last time that we need to start making a plan to make some of those political decisions and community policy decisions about what direction we're going to go, because it's a 20-year-old plus facility now. Usually you see them fail between 20 and 30 years. LB 840, business as normal. Electric, we'll just go through the utilities real quick. Electric, we're proposing a 3% increase in rates, kind of matching our inflationary costs. Same thing in water and wastewater. Wastewater, previously, we've seen 15% increases every single year to build up the revenue source, to build up the sinking fund, to fund the wastewater treatment plant. Again, a $51 million facility. And so we've kind of curved that hill, and so now we're back more towards an operational increase. And so we're proposing a 3% increase across all utilities. Fire and rescue has a significant number of EMS upgrades, and we talked about that at the last meeting. And one of them is the replacement of Rescue Squad 99, the chassis. We'll put the box back on, and then a number of the striker system monitors, power cots, and related items, and the stair chair. So, and we kind of went through that last time, and that proposal of we're gonna meet some of that with building funds, some with sinking funds, and then probably the other half of all those expenses with general fund. Golf, I noted that the Vericut mower was removed from this year and pushed into the next year, which provided us the savings we needed to on the postcard hearing. Nothing significant. A lot of the other ones, we will kind of monitor the bond issue when that happens. It's already being discussed by the school district. We'll kind of monitor their facilities and what they're gonna do with that. If that does include some of the field facilities we use jointly, like the Legion Field, baseball field. If that is approved or included in that process, then we will start planning next year for that, as that project's kind of pivoted, but still moving forward on turf projects across the city, in different fashions. Nothing too major in the rest of them. Recycling, as we've discussed before, it's actually, we were just given notice, our current recycling employee's final day will be October 31st. So we're probably gonna activate with Uribe now, knowing that we're gonna regrade that out and have the roll-offs there that you'll put in your recycling yourself, and then they'll be hauled off and dumped and brought back. No significant savings, like I told you before. What it really saves us is removing some of the buildings and the other stuff that's having issues with that alleyway, kind of sloughing off because of the grade difference there. That will save us some significant funds there. And so we'll utilize likely Uribe because they are our hauler for city waste. Nothing specifically in street. We went through the 1 and 6-year plan. The big project for next year will be the Plum Creek Bridge, which is a state project. So there's no funding except for some peripheral design items that get into city stuff. And then East Hillcrest from East Ridge to the Bluff Road Bridge on Plum Creek. So that's the big major capital project in streets. There'll be some peripheral items and design ones around it. We already talked about wastewater. We've secured SRF funding, and so we will begin getting final bid documents here in the fall to build that $51 million facility. So that will be a multi-year building project that'll be underway. Water, nothing super big. We'll be closing out the water tower, bringing that online here shortly. Getting painted right now if you didn't notice, I'm sure you did. We'll bring down the other tower this fall and put all that stuff into service. Wellness Center, we'll receive our first gift from the Cruzy Rogers gift that we've talked about for operational purposes, and that will really set us up to understand cash flow, so we can see how much we can set aside in a sinking fund for capital improvements. I've met with Changing the Game, and we're gonna go meet with them again with their actual board and start moving to set up the foundational element and change from a fundraising element to more of a foundational element. And then they'll have the remaining funds that are coming in for donations and things like that pivot to the foundation, so we can set up a capital account to help fund future major capital expenses, whether we have air conditioning go out or we want to expand the building or anything else like that. So I think there'll be a significant sum to be put into there as well. And lastly, we have the ask, I think it's on for, let's see, the Airport Authority's resolution asking for their levy, just noting that they have an increase in $13,494 in their tax passing. Their levy remains the same ask though. That's the budget in a nutshell. So that's for the purpose of the public hearing, and we've disclosed all the things that are pretty pertinent. And so if you have any questions for me, please let me know.
Would go ahead and open up the public comment portion of the public hearing under item 1. If anyone from the public wishes to comment on this item, please come forward at this time. Alright, I will close the public comment portion of the public hearing and return to the council for any other discussion. Is there anything else we have on item 1?
Nope.
Are we good going to item 2? Right.
Yep.
Okay. Item 2 is also a public hearing, notice of special hearing for the purpose of hearing support, opposition, criticism, suggestions, or observations from taxpayers relating to setting the final tax request for fiscal year 2026. Greg.
As we noted before, but I'll reiterate again for the purposes of this public hearing, we're asking for a reduction in the tax levy from 0.299 to 0.297803. That still allows for an increase in the property tax ask. The 2024-25 property tax ask was $2,155,604. The 25-26 proposed budget is $2,261,794, an increase of $106,190. The other thing I note just from the last hearing is our proposed budget is does not create a deficit other than $100,000 in the sinking funds from the fire department that we're utilizing to pay for equipment. Other than that, the general fund does not have a deficit in any way. And then in all the funds, so that is your business funds, so that'd be electric, water, wastewater, and the general fund. The cash reserves that are left over after this proposed fiscal year all meets our internal fiscal requirement, which is 6 months O&M plus debt service, and we subtract, no offense to our friends here from Public Power, but we subtract power purchase because if we're buying it from them, hopefully we're selling it to somebody, so we would have a revenue coming in. But other than that, 6 months O&M plus debt service. And those are all covered within the proposed budget as well.
Questions or comments for the, is the public hearing over the public comment portion of the public hearing? Anyone from the public wishing to comment on item number 2, please come forward at this time. Seeing no wishing to comment, I will close the public comment portion of the public hearing. Is there anything else? Alright. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Oh, you got jumped, John.
That's okay.
Please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Franciscato, Kaler, Thomas, Coltman, Singleton, Strice, and Morgan, 7-0.
Alright. So now we get to do a second hearing, or second meeting,